And in this episode of the Happiest Podcast, we have on my friend, Miss Amberly Lago. She talks about how pain and joy can actually coexist. We're going to be diving into this episode of the Happiest Podcast. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Carrie Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee! All right, my friend, Miss Amberly Lago, welcome back to the Happy Hustle Podcast. I am super excited to rock the mic.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for having me back. Every time I get to see you, it brings me joy, actually. And I was like, before we started recording, I was like, yeah, look, Carrie, I'm trying to be more like you now. I've got my branding, my hat, like yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, speaking of joy, we are talking about your new book, Joy Through the Journey. And I'm super excited about this one. I mean, you have such an inspiring story, Amberly, and you've changed the lives of, I could probably say, millions of people. I know definitely thousands of people through your direct contact, but your followers online from your podcast, your best-selling past book, True Grit and Grace. You have a TEDx talk. You have so much going on in the world. You're a professional speaker. You have your own mastermind. You have this empowering and amazing story. And specifically, you really pulled back the curtain in this new book. I know Joy Through the Journey is revealing some of the deepest, darkest adversities and despair, as well as talking about how to shift your mindset, embrace the present moment, and cultivate resilience through life's ups and downs. So we're going to unpack all that and more. But before we do, I always like to kick things off with what is something interesting about Amberly that maybe has happened since the last time you've been on that we can share with the Happy Hustlers.
Something interesting. Let's see. Well, I always like to keep my family entertained. My husband's nickname for me is Crazy, actually, and I kind of like it. So I think probably maybe since the last time we talked, I did an event and I organized a flash mob
Oh,
dance, and I had all my mastermind ladies. I was like, who wants to do this flash mob dance with me? And I think it was because I had, somebody tell me at one time, they're like, don't dance at events. It's not professional. Do not dance on stage. And I was like, oh, then I'm definitely not only going to dance. I was like, I'm going to just organize a whole flash mob dance and we're going to have some fun. And
love
so,
it.
yeah, got to have fun.
That is awesome. I feel like dancing just brings you joy. And whether you're good at it or not, you can increase the amount of happiness one will feel by just shaking that tush, to some nice tunes, right?
Yeah, it's
So,
super embarrassing for my daughter. She's like, Mom, stop, because I can't control myself. Like if I'm in the grocery store, and I guess this is kind of a weird thing, especially if you're not a dancer, but when I'm in the grocery store and I see this like aisle with smooth floors, I have to do a pirouette.
yeah.
I was just speaking at an event last week, and I took a lot of the mastermind ladies were there too, and we went out to celebrate. Two of the ladies had birthdays, and one of the ladies started talking about, oh yeah, I used to do ballet. I'm like, do you know Tombe pas de bourrée, glissade grand jeté? And she goes, yeah. I said, well, let's do it. And we just got up and we, in the middle of the restaurant, did this dance, and people were like, have y'all been practicing that? I'm like, no, we just know it. It's in our bones, and it
Yeah.
brings joy.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what's cool about that is like you put a smile on other people's faces when you just are unapologetically yourself. You just like they say, dance like no one's watching, and you're just spreading that positive light. And that's what we're all about at the Happy Hustle, as you know. So let's talk about this new book. I mean, first and foremost, tell us a little backstory of why you wrote it.
Well, I have had a sticky note on my computer for over 2 years. Oh, it's probably been 3 years now. So, do you know John Gordon?
Yeah, yeah.
I love John.
John's the
Oh, that's
best.
right. Yeah,
He's
y'all
been on the
did a pod
pod. Yeah,
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 that's right. I remember seeing that now.
yeah.
Um,
We
and
hung out at Ed Milet's event too, who I know is also a friend of yours. We were at Ed's Power of One More, and so I really got to know him and Catherine there
oh, I
in the
love
green room.
them.
Yeah.
Love them. And I was talking to John, and, he goes, "Amberly, I'm really good at titles, and I have a title for your next book." He goes, "Joy Through the Journey." And I was
Ah,
like, "Oh, I like that," because I didn't realize I talked about joy a lot.
mm,
And I even went back and looked at a lot of my posts and the writings, and it's something I've been talking about a lot.
mm.
And so it was on this sticky note. And then I had always wanted to do a book with Wiley Publishers, because Ed did his book with them, John did his book, Renee Rodriguez did his book with him, and it was always on the back burner. And then I get an email from Wiley, and
Oh,
they're like, "Hey, we would like to do a book with you. Do you have any ideas?" And I was like, "Actually, I do."
ooh.
And I pitched it, and they said, "Get us a proposal within 2 days." I'm like, "Holy moly, let me do this." And I sent it, and they said yes. And I remember walking out of my office and said, "Honey, I just got a book deal." And he goes, "Oh no, when are you gonna have time to do that?" And I was like, "I will make time to do this." And
Mm,
I wrote this because, when I was diagnosed with an incurable nerve disease, told I'd never walk again, work again, and be confined to a wheelchair the rest of my life. Nothing against wheelchairs. My brother's been in a wheelchair his whole life, but I was like, no, I want to dance. No, I want to move my body. I want to be joyous and free. And
mm,
what I've found that even living with this nerve disease that's ranked highest on the pain scale, I've learned that pain and joy can coexist, and
mm,
that we can choose to build upon the joy. And that, I think some people think, well, when I achieve this, or when I don't have this physical pain, or I can get through this divorce, or when my business is at this level, then I'll be joyous. And it's like, that's not how it works. It's
mm,
not waiting for the right circumstances for joy to come along. It is embracing and being in gratitude and embracing the present moment and choosing to be resilient. That is where we can really cultivate more joy.
mm. Gosh, well said. Pain and joy can coexist. That's a beautiful way to put it. I haven't heard it like that. And you know, I feel like joy and happiness and a lot of these terms that are cliche that I use all the time, but they're cliche for a reason, and we all are seeking joy. Like everyone out there wants more joy in their everyday reality. So if you can, what does joy mean to you? Let's define terms.
Yeah, well, I think it is a little bit different than, happiness. It may be associated, like, I'm happy when I get to eat at my favorite restaurant, or I get a great piece of chocolate, or, I have a bottle of Tabasco because I love Tabasco on everything. It makes me happy. But I feel like joy comes from deep within us.
Mm,
Faith is a big part of my life. And I
mm,
feel like, when I am closely connected to God, I feel more joyful. I think also what I've learned, and I love that you talk about this so much is in your book. You've talked about it when you were a guest on my podcast, and how to happy hustle, because you were yourself, where I was like in a phase where I was on the brink of burnout, and I
mhm,
realized I wasn't really finding any joy, and it was because I wasn't in alignment and I wasn't fulfilled.
Mm,
I had stopped doing the things that really brought me joy, like getting out in nature,
mm,
dancing more, feeling the sun on my face, spending
yeah.
that quality time with the people that I love.
Mm,
And I remember you talk about joy, I remember being a kid, the first moment I really discovered joy. I didn't even know what that was, but it was this overwhelming, amazing feeling, and I thought to myself, "I want more of this."
mhm,
So, I did not have an easy childhood. I mean, most of us don't. I mean, I definitely had, not so great moments. I was sexually abused by my stepfather,
mm,
and I don't know how I knew to do this, but I remember actively seeking out joy because I didn't want to feel that pain.
ah,
And, I think that pain has a way of pushing us until our purpose pulls us.
right.
And I got into running.
Mm,
That's when I got into dancing. And I remember it was a Friday night after a football game, and I'm not sure why my mom let me go to the Dairy Queen with all the band members and football players and cheerleaders and people that went to the football game. And I remember dancing. They put money in the jukebox and I was dancing around, and somebody picked me up and they put me on the tabletop and I started dancing, and that feeling of joy. And it was the feeling when I looked out at people and the sparkle in their eyes and their smiles, and they
mm,
started clapping and then they started dancing. And I realized that joy is contagious, that we can be
mm,
joy sparkers in the world. And I think
yeah.
that so much of that comes from, even if you go out and choose to smile at someone and ask them how they're doing.
Mm. Joy sparkers. That's I know you talk about that in the book and, really just being the light for others. That's one of the things that I really truly resonate. I talk about just being the love and light in every situation. I even have this very terrible love light bulb tattooed on me from a ayahuasca journey in Costa Rica that has a like a
Let
daily
me see
reminder of
that
me.
again. Let me see that
It's
again.
hilarious. I know it's
Oh my
it's
goodness.
terrible.
How have I never seen that?
It looks like a 12-year-old drew it, but it's got the spiritual Ankh symbol because this was my rebirth when I said, okay, I'm going to be the love and light in every situation and be this love light bulb, that just spreads it. And so this is like so on mission for me to spread joy through the journey, your book, because it just, the world needs it. The world needs it. There's at any given moment, you can be optimistic or pessimistic about pretty much your reality and the external variables that affect it. However, it's just this lens, it's this filter. And so I know you choose joy, and as do I. And sometimes my wife even calls me a delusional optimist at times. But, I'd rather err on that side. And I love that you do as well. So let's talk about how others can too, because I know you get into like actual tactics here, tips, tools, tactics within the book that are extracted from your journey. Give us a couple, maybe three things that are tactical that people who want to infuse more joy through their journey can extract and implement.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, really take a good hard look at your life. Get radically honest with yourself
Mm,
and have some self-care. And when I say self-care, I'm not talking necessarily about like massage is good, yoga's good, meditation's good, nourishing your body. Yes, that's all good. But I'm talking about self-care and that create a life that you don't want to escape.
mm,
Create a life that you're in alignment with. So knowing your values, knowing what brings you joy. I think so often, so many times, people get in a place and they just get into the day-to-day grind, or things become very mundane, and it's like, really think about what brings you joy. And for me, just like last night, so my daughter got home from school and she's like, "Mom, let's go fishing." And I was like, "Okay." She goes, "No, no, no, go with me to go wash my truck." And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, maybe we'll get our nails done." I'm like, "Okay, this is a wild, but she's like actively seeking things that bring her joy. It's like, and she wanted me to be a part of it, which really made me happy, super
Yeah.
happy. And so what brought me so much joy was taking a little break, even though I was telling myself I'm in the middle of a launch. Like I need
Yeah.
to go, I need to work, I need to do. I was like, no, you know what? I need to be with my daughter right now.
Mm.
And we had the windows down. She was listening to some country rap, kind of
Whoa.
crazy music that was just making me laugh. And then just the act of being outside and working and being together, washing her truck. And then when we got home, she's like, Mom, can you make me a surprise snack? Just being able to make her a surprise snack because that brings her joy brought me joy. And so
Yeah.
I think it comes down to like really think, pause and reflect. What are your values?
Yep.
What brings you joy? What are your non negotiables? Don't let those go out the window. And let
Yeah.
me give you the quickest and easiest way to shift your mindset and embrace the present moment. And this sounds so simple, but it has been life changing for me is gratitude. I do it every day. I practice gratitude in the morning. I have a gratitude accountability group that we
Mm.
text each other what we're grateful for. And I start my day with prayer, thanking God. I end my day. And the last thing I do before I go to bed is like, thank you, thank you, thank you, God, for keeping me sober one more day.
Mm.
And so I think that gratitude is alchemy and it really does spark more joy because it gets you focused on the good.
Yep.
And then one other thing that you can do is actively seek joy. And
Mm.
I mean, when we lost our dog, passed away, I
Oh,
was
man.
so heartbroken. This was my therapy dog. She was with me for every surgery, and
Mm.
I was crushed and I could not stop crying. And it wasn't that I was trying to, not acknowledge the pain that was in that, but I was like, man, I just want to stop crying. I don't think I've ever cried like this. I want joy. I need a little joy right now. And so I did things like I changed my environment. I got out of the house. I went to Home Goods and actively was like, I need to see somebody smile. So I'm going to smile at people so they'll smile back. I hope.
Mm.
And I think that we aren't meant to do hard things alone. So, like, getting in the habit of connecting with people who, like, I'm telling you, Carrie, every single time I get to talk with you, it just brings me happiness and joy because you're always smiling, you're always helping, you're always serving, you are such a bright light in the world. And
Thank
so I
you. I
can't.
received that and echo the sentiment right back at you.
Thank you. I think the people that we surround ourselves really matter. And so
Hmm.
take a good look at the people that you're hanging with. Are they energy vampires
Oh, yeah.
or are
Yep.
they when you're with them, you are fired up and ready to go.
Right.
And that's what you do for so many is
Oh, thank you.
you energize people. You are that tattoo. You are a light heart, love and light in the
Thank
world.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, those are some great takeaways. I mean, seriously, first one, I think probably the most important one is like know what actually brings you joy. Like you said, you know your values and be in alignment with those so that you can receive joy. The second thing you said was practice an attitude of gratitude, right? Like you have a gratitude group. I do a gratitude journal every morning. And that just constant act of being grateful will create more abundance and ultimately joy in your existence. You know, everyone has something to be grateful for. And probably if you're out there watching and listening to this right now, you're extremely fortunate because you have something to watch this on or listen to it, right? And
Yeah.
you probably have a roof over your head and food in the fridge and a car to drive. There's a lot that we could be grateful for. And then the third thing, like you said, is actively seek joy, right? So really put yourself in the position to go out there and be a joy spark, like go smile at people. I love to give random strangers compliments. I think that is especially, here's the thing, I don't talk about this, but especially other dudes. Like for me as a man who like leads other men oftentimes, and you as a woman who leads other women, sometimes I feel like other men there's like this alpha syndrome, but I break that down and completely just am like, hey man, great beard. Damn, that thing's sharp. I need to get, or look at that stash, or those glasses, and I like to do that for other men who probably don't get complimented by other men, not in like a weird gay way, but just in a way that's like keeping it real. Like I see you and I appreciate whatever that piece is of you. I do it with women too, obviously, as well. But it just, the point is, compliments and just being a joy spark are such great ways to put that out there, and especially when you're comfortable and confident in your own skin, like giving a compliment can actually, um it can be such a blessing for both parties, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. I look for the good in people. I actually hunt for the good, and
Right.
I think that we can get in a habit of actively searching for that, and the more that we are it's kind of, you know what, I'm sure that when your wife was pregnant, you noticed pregnant women, you're like, how are all why is everybody pregnant?
Yeah, so true.
Because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were probably like, you were, like, focused on her being pregnant, so you
Right.
started seeing more people that are pregnant. It's
Yep.
kinda like when you have a new car. It's like, I remember when I got a car, I was like, I saw that same color, that same car, that same model
Right.
everywhere. I'm like, "Gosh, there's so many cars just like mine."
Yeah.
You train, what you'll start seeing that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, doesn't Ed talk about it? It's called the reticular activating system, right? Where it's like you're training your subconscious brain to look for certain things essentially on a subconscious level. And this is what we can do with joy, right? It's
Yeah.
just being very much deliberate with, oh, wow, this cup of coffee tastes delicious. I'm not just going to like suck it down and get the caffeine spike. It's like I'm going to savor it. And I think that like just slowing down, being in the moment, praying, I think is a really great way for me, where I just pray to God again, practicing the attitude of gratitude, but also, thank you for this food. Like, wow, something like I just made some venison stew from a deer I hunted just, 2 months ago. It was delicious. It was fresh. It was lean, and it was, a very healthy meal that fueled my body and my family. And I was like, man, I'm so grateful for this life, and you think about it, it's like, we can find joy in the littlest of things, the biggest of things, but again, it's seeking it. I love that takeaway. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming, but I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that the Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode. Let's talk a little bit about, someone who maybe is hearing this and being like, damn, Carrie and Amberly, this sounds great. All this woo woo joy talk. Damn, good for you guys. You guys are like really optimistic, but I'm going through this or that or some real dark stuff right now. And I know you've been through some of the darkest of dark. Like you almost died in a car accident on your motorcycle that literally almost took your life. It took your leg for the most part. You fought to save it and had, I know, less than a 1% chance to save it, but here you are, you know, battling back through adversity. And then you have CRPS, with this nerve disease that like plagues you every day with pain. someone out there going through pain right now, like really hurting, and whatever that pain is, I mean, everyone can resonate with pain in some regard. What would you say to that person who really is potentially struggling to see the joy?
Well, I know it's hard because, I mean, oh my gosh, this last year was it was really a tough year with my health. I mean, I have a nurse that comes over regularly. I mean, she's coming over tonight to give me an IV treatment, and, it's been if I can write a book about joy while going through these health challenges and, finding out I have another surgery coming up, but it was
Mm,
really so much resistance, so many things that went wrong, so much pain. The pain had gotten as bad as it was like right after my motorcycle accident, and I was just crashing. Um, and my husband, of course, has been worried. But I was coming back from a treatment. I went out of the country to get a treatment, and I had these high hopes that it was going to make me feel superhuman. And it, in fact, had the opposite effect. And I was back in a wheelchair,
mm,
and I was just in a foreign country, didn't speak the language, and being rolled in a wheelchair through the airport, and I was crying. I was just like having a big old pity party. And then I was like, "Okay, wait a minute." I mean, I'm grateful that even though I don't speak the language, I have this young man helping me. He smiled at me. We somehow are communicating even though we don't speak the same language. I am so blessed
mm.
that I have help, that he's rolling me to where I need to get. And then I was like, "You know what? It shifted everything." Then I started having tears of gratitude, and I
Mm,
was able to just shift the way that I felt about that situation. And, I think that, yes, pain is pain, and pain demands to be heard because it will come out in every area of our life, the way we love, the way we lead, the way we parent, everything, the way we work. But there are ways to get through it,
mm.
and that you can absolutely choose to build upon the joy.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I'm like, okay, who can I help? There's a friend that has been struggling with her health. Let me call and check on her.
Mm,
And just reaching out and even checking on your strong friends. Hey,
yeah.
how are you doing? What's going on with that event that you're launching? How can I support you? Or, one of your strong friends that maybe it looks like they have it all together, and you have no idea just how they are struggling, either financially or physically or emotionally. Like, check on your strong friends. Build that connection. I think that, for so long, Carrie, I just tried to grit it out. And I
Yeah.
learned that grit without connection just feels like resistance. It's not
Mm,
joyful.
mm.
It's hard. You hit rock bottom, have health challenges. At least I did anyway. But
Yeah.
grit with connection and community, that's where we really strengthen our resilience. That's where we can spark more joy.
Yeah.
And the reason I get so raw and real in this book is because I want people to know that, look, I'm no doctor. I'm no therapist. I'm just a girl that has gone through hell and back and continues to have challenges and has found different ways to be able to spark more joy. And so this book was different in that I give actionable steps
Yeah.
and takeaways at the end of each chapter.
Mm.
And I also, wrote this book, and my husband's like, "Good, you did it. You're done." Then he sees me typing away doing something else. He's like, "What are you doing now?" And I'm like, "I'm doing a companion playbook to go along with the," he's
Love
like,
it.
"Oh my gosh, when are you gonna stop?" And so I just want people to know that it is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love that. Your husband, he's hilarious. What a saint. My wife too, it's just when you're like a spouse of an entrepreneur or like a visionary entrepreneur who really has like a pure heart of service, it's hard to turn it off.
It
Um,
is.
yeah, yeah. No, I
And
get it. I get
it
it. I just
yeah,
crack
and
up.
yesterday my husband said, "Amberly, you've got to stop. He goes, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and sometimes people take advantage of you.
Mhm.
He goes, when are you going to stop? Don't respond to that. Don't. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
but I like to help people.
Well, the thing is, it's coming from such a pure place, and you know, with you being so raw and real, again, talking about some of the pain that you've overcome, and being able to just say, look, this is my journey. This is how I've turned adversity into triumph in many regards. I mean, people see you now like you have, millions of followers, you got podcasts and books and TEDx talks and masterminds, and you have all this stuff. But at the core, it's like, hey, we all have our struggles. We all have shit that we're going through, and we gotta just keep it real throughout. And I think having people to talk to about it, like for me, I we host our Happy Hustle Club. It's a group of just these badass, high performing, heart centered, mission driven entrepreneurs like myself. And I know you have a mastermind that brings people together to share this unstoppable life, right? To help support one another. Talk to us a little bit about that power of community, like having a mastermind or a support group or whatever it
Oh,
is to get
yeah.
you through those hard times to then create more joy.
Yeah. Well, bringing up John Gordon again, but
Yeah.
John was in town for one of his events, came to Dallas, and he said, "Hey, Amberly, will you come interview me about the importance of mentors and masterminds?" I'm like,
Mm.
"Heck yeah, I love
Yeah.
hanging out. I'll be there. I'll be right
Yeah.
there." And so he is so kind and like so generous that I'm interviewing him because he's starting his own mastermind, and he starts it off with, "Well, yeah, my wife was in your mastermind, and that, I mean, people think I helped her with her speaking and her podcast and this and that, but it was you. You helped her." And I'm like, "John, this is for your mastermind."
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know, he goes, he's got such a mindset of abundance
Yeah.
though, that it's like what is meant for him will be for him. What's meant for the kind of mastermind do will those people will come to me.
Right.
A bunch like men, they will go and join your group, which your mastermind is amazing. It's the group that I got to speak to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was so impressed with what you
Thank you.
do. And you're so tech savvy, by the way. And what a great group of men. They were
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
But look, I have my own mastermind, but I'm actually in 2 different masterminds.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I have a coach. I'm a coach and I coach women, but I have a coach,
Right.
and I like to keep growing and learning. And any business I've ever done, I've had a mentor. It will
Mm.
time collapse your journey, your
Yeah.
goals, your vision, but I will say something very important. If you go to that person and have a mentor, a coach, or be in a mastermind where you know that person has achieved what you're striving for, and they've like gotten to the other side, they've built the business or they've achieved this luminous success, whatever that may be, and go to them. But also, I just told somebody, I had a call with somebody who was interested in my mastermind the other day, and I said, "You know what? Why don't you go to the people that I follow on my Unstoppable Life Mastermind page, on the Unstoppable Life Women page? Go ask them. Go ask anybody that's a part of my mastermind, whether you choose to be in mine or somebody else's. Go ask them what did you get out of being a
Mm.
part of that mastermind? What did you learn from that
Yeah.
coach?
Yeah.
How did they help you achieve your goals or whatever it may be?" I think that's really important.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is the key catalyst, I can say, to much of my quote unquote success. Like it's just being surrounded by a like-minded group of people who can push you and pull you forward in whatever capacity, both personally and professionally. And you do the same for them as much as you can within that community. You just vulnerably and wholeheartedly share. And again, for like, I'm in the same boat, I seek wisdom from other mastermind groups and from other coaches and mentors. That's how I think we continuously grow and bring better information and wisdom to our own community, and it's like you have to be constantly growing and evolving, and we all have something we can learn from everybody we meet, from again the garbage man on the street to the executive in the boardroom. We can acquire knowledge and lessons from everyone, but specifically when you're surrounded by a group who really shares the same values and destination in many regards, it can be the key catalyst for success. So I love that you have that for your business and in your life, and same with mine. I know people are probably like, all right, I need to read this book and just hear more of the story, and just like actually dive in to the joy through the journey. Where can people go? I know you have some awesome bulk bonus offers coming up. I mean, the book is just launching at the time of this release. So where can people go to get it?
Yeah, I've created some fun bonuses and a book club that you can join, which has been super fun. I've had quite a few people sign up for the book club, and I
Yeah.
really want to create that connection and then community. And I'm having a book launch virtual party and doing giveaways, everything from like swag to signed books to a membership to my mastermind
Let's
and event
go.
tickets. I'm giving my tickets to my Unstoppable Success Summit.
Let's go.
So yeah, yeah. But if you go to go.amberlylago.com/joy, you
Hmm.
can get those bonuses and all these things that I've created to give away. And hope to see people in the book club too, because I think that connection where we can lean in on each other, we can share insights, ask questions, maybe do a little joy dance. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. You never know what I might surprise people with.
Bust out a joy dance. I love it. So it's go.amberlylago.com/joy, and check out the bonuses. It just depends on which bonuses you want, how many books you get, etc. But unpack the book club, because I think that's super interesting, especially a lot of our audience is entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. A lot of them which want to write a book or have written a book and want to write another one. And I think a book club's an interesting, you know, let's call it endeavor for any author and also for any reader. But so maybe you could just kind of unpack both sides to someone who's running a book club, and then as the consumer side, what it's like and what they get as a part of it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because with my first book, True Grit and Grace, I was a first time author. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a publisher that was a hybrid publisher. They did not give me any direction. I don't know how it became a bestseller because I was just really getting scrappy, pulling my
Yeah.
bootstraps up and going for it. And I had a company that had reached out to me and they charged me a lot of money to do a book club. And they charged people to join the book club and it didn't work out. And I was like, I don't want to charge people to join a book club. I want to do a book club and really give
Yeah.
and say thank you first of all for
Yeah.
buying my book. I mean, that means a lot, but also I think it's so important to have that community and that connection. And I don't know about you, but I have a stack of books that I want to read,
Yeah.
and it's like a stack of books, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I
I
feel
got
like if
that.
we have that accountability and we're like, okay, we are going to read together because that's one of my goals for this year is just to read more. But
Yeah.
what if you can do it together? I feel
Mm.
like everything gets a little easier when you have a community that we're okay, we're doing this.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, we're strong alone, but together we're unstoppable. Let's go for it. So,
Mm.
and also for people who are thinking about writing their second book, I highly, highly suggest doing a book club because
Yeah.
I am blown away how many people have signed up. I just spoke at an event last week and it was a construction company, and probably only 10% of the people there were women. I know a lot of men might not be thinking, oh, let me join a book club. But I had like 100 people sign up for one of the
Whoa.
book clubs from that one event.
Let's
So
go.
yeah. So if you're thinking of doing a second book, or you know what, if you already have a book,
Yeah.
Why not go ahead and start a book club now?
Yeah, I'm thinking about starting a damn book club. Jeez Louise.
I'm serious, Carrie. It has
Yeah.
been amazing, and I
Yeah.
love people, and
Yeah.
I love to connect, and so I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway at each time we meet for the book club. We're gonna do Q&A, so it's not gonna be just me, like,
Yeah.
teaching like a webinar." It's like, "No, let's really connect. Let's share, what's going on with you." And there's a saying, I can't remember, it's something like, when you share pain, it's divided, and when you share joy, it's multiplied. And
Mm.
so I think this is a good way to come together and divide pain and multiply joy. So let's go.
Let's go. Join the book club. Check out go.amberlylago.com/joy. Pick up a new copy of her book, Joy Through the Journey. Shift your mindset, embrace the present moment, and cultivate resilience through life's ups and downs, which Amberly, you have had a lot of ups and downs, and you are such a great spokeswoman for this topic. And I'm just honored to know you and call you a friend, and just so awesome to witness your rise and your journey. And just, I'm really, I know it's weird to say this, but I'm very proud of you too for everything that you've been through and how you've been able to just, yeah, showcase that resilience and just be that beacon of light for so many. So
Mm.
yeah,
Thank
excited about this one.
you.
And John wrote the dang forward. I saw that. That's so
Oh,
awesome too.
yeah.
John Gordon wrote the forward from the Energy Bus. If you guys don't know John Gordon, we've talked about him throughout the episode. Do yourself a favor and read one of his books too, because
Oh, he's
they're
like
amazing.
he
Yeah.
is such an incredible author. I have all of his books, and I have to admit, I called him up, and when I asked him and he said yes, I started crying.
I
Tears
love
of
it. I
gratitude.
would
I was like,
too.
"Really?" I was like,
Yeah,
"Really?"
I
I was
would
like,
too.
because I mean, I just love his work. I'm so inspired by him, and I was
Yeah.
like, when you have somebody write the forward like that, it's like, "Wow, thanks." Like
Yeah.
I'm humbled. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. That's amazing. Well, I do like to always ask some of our traditional happy hustle questions. Then we'll wrap this interview up after a rapid fire round. So I think you answered some of these last time, but I'm curious, maybe something shifted. So let's go there. In terms of happy hustle hacks, we're going to just pack them in and we'll just go kind of rapid fire style throughout all of them. So, basically, random questions, and then you answer honestly, first thing that comes to mind. Are you
Okay, this
ready?
might be scary.
Okay, here we go. Favorite food? Go.
Anything with Tabasco on it.
Nice. Favorite movie?
No, The Notebook, or Dirty
Ooh.
Dancing, or Urban Cowboy.
Oh, all good ones. Favorite book?
Um, Happy Hustle. No, I'm kidding.
Ah, I'll
Four
take it.
Agreements.
Yeah, Four Agreements. That's a good one. Best business advice?
Get a mentor, coach, and be in a mastermind.
What's your spirit animal?
Spirit animal? Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe a horse. We're a horse crazy family over here. I don't know.
Like it. What is something that you learned throughout this book launch that you do different next time?
Um, Before you pay a lot of money for somebody to be on your team and they say they can help with something, really do your background check
Yeah.
on them and make sure they are pure legitness and not going to scam you and take the money and run.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but a great lesson to share. Um, Happy hustle hack for your health, something you do that's uniquely Amberly.
I would say dancing.
Yeah, love
Yeah,
it.
I do it everywhere, in the grocery store, at the gym, outside, at dinner, in the
You
middle of
get it.
dinner, embarrass my daughter like crazy. I've done that my whole life, though. My mom used to say, "Amberly, be still or get out of the kitchen to tap dance,
Yeah.
leave," So I've just yeah.
Hey, own it. Happy hustle hack for your money, something that you do maybe to save or invest or spend wisely.
Um, well, I don't ever have a credit card debt. I pay my credit card. I don't I don't ever want to have a credit card debt. And I check my bank and my credit cards. Maybe this is obsessive a little bit, but like sometimes 4 times a day. Like I like to know
Mm,
what's
yeah,
incoming, what's
yeah,
outgoing, and yeah, I think that's maybe it.
yeah. What you measure, you can manage, right? Happy hustle hack for your spirituality, something you do to connect to a higher power.
I get on my knees and
Mm,
pray in the morning because it reminds me how small I am and how big God is.
mm, love that. And three things you're most grateful for today.
Honestly, that I had time with my daughter this morning, that I've had the opportunity to be on a lot of podcasts, and that I have great friends like you that are like, "How can I support you?" And I mean, really, Carrie, I'm grateful when I get to see you because you are just such a good friend. You're the real deal. You're so talented at what you do, and it's a no wonder everybody loves your show and
Thank
your
you.
books. And I'm excited to give everybody at my upcoming event a copy of your book.
Thank you.
You just helped me so much, so I'm really grateful for you as well. And I'm not just saying that. I
Thank you.
mean,
Thank
I
you.
legit can't wait to do more with you. I know we keep saying we're going to plan this
So
Montana retreat, but
we need to do it.
we
Damn it.
need to do it. We
Yeah,
need to do it. Yeah.
I know. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, appreciate you. And okay, final question of that rapid fire round. If you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on there, what's that billboard read?
Oh, it would say you can absolutely have joy through the journey.
Mm,
Choose joy today.
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
love it. I
I
love
guess
it.
that's on my mind since I have a stack of books everywhere I look.
I
I've
know.
got necklaces, I've got hats, I've got hoodies, just joy everywhere. Like I
Swag. I
said,
love
I'm
the
trying to be
swag.
more like you, Carrie.
Swag game. Get it, girl. That's awesome. You crushed that rapid fire round. And Amberly, again, I know this feels like we're just kind of throwing love back and forth, but it's true. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, seriously, for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom, your joy, your pain too, and your strategies that you've used to overcome it. And um, the inspiration that I've drawn from your journey, as well as how many others have been able to learn and grow thanks to you being vulnerable and real and raw, which again is rare in this everyday reality that we now live in. It's a testament to who you are as a person, and so I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing this book with the world. And guys, go get a copy. Go.amberly.com/joy. Amberly, tie a bow on everything we talked about today. Give people, maybe uh a rallying cry or a call to action, will you, to just go out there and be a joy spark, will you?
Yes, well, you know what? Yeah, I encourage you to actively go out there and do some joy spotting and start training yourself to look for the positive, to look for the good. And
Mm,
I can absolutely say with certainty that you can have a life of joy and resilience. And, you know, it's up to you to choose it.
well said. Amberly, final question. As always, what does happy hustling mean to you? I'm curious if your answer has maybe shifted.
You know what? Your book and your calendar that you can check things off, and your both your books. Like your first one was great. Your second one, I was like, oh man, this how could I didn't know it could get any better. But it's really it's very helpful to me to remember that because I can easily go all into just gritting it out, just
Mm,
grit and hard work, and then happy hustle to me is grit and giving yourself some grace and allowing yourself
mm,
some time to go out there and just have more joy in your life.
mm. Well said. Mic drop, y'all. Amberly Lago. Thank you for watching and listening to that, buddy. We are out. Peace and love.